Welcome everybody to our media. Actually, it's super interesting that we have Alberto from Baquewa, La Isla Magazine Latinx today, and today we have a super important guest that is Mac Deford. Correct?
Yes.
Bueno, así que sean todos ustedes bienvenidos. Tenemos un invitado muy especial y por supuesto estamos acá con los medios de comunicación hispanos del Low Country, que es Baquewa, La Isla Magazine Latinx Today, compartiendo con todos ustedes en esta tarde tan espectacular que empieza el calor, aunque seguimos en este mes de marzo. Y nuestro invitado se llama Mac Deford. Él es un candidato al Congreso de Carolina del Sur, quien va a compartir sus iniciativas con nosotros. So, Mac, thank you so much for being with us and welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We are with Alberto also, so we have different questions. But I believe that everybody would like to know a little bit about you. So, where you were born and where you're from, and because we know that you have done a lot of work here in the Low Country,
Yes.
mainly Hilton Head Island, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I am originally, I grew up in New Jersey. And when I was 18 years old, after high school, I enlisted in the military. I served in the U.S. Coast Guard. I was in law enforcement and search and rescue. And that's ultimately brought me to South Carolina. I was stationed in Charleston. And then I continued my public service after attending the Citadel and the Charleston School of Law in local government as an attorney. And so most recently, I was the general counsel for the town of Hilton Head Island. And so I'm very in tune to the local issues that we face here in the Low Country. I am well aware of the housing issues with affordability. I am actively working on a project right now for the town, actually, for an affordable housing project. You've worked on infrastructure projects, environmental concerns that we have, which there are a lot of. So, and I'm running because we need people that are going to be effective and actually be able to get things done. So, very, very in tune to what's going on here in the Low Country.
So we're going to translate at the same time, so we got that conversation going on. Pues bueno, presentamos, como decíamos, a Mac Deford, que es originalmente de New Jersey. Se movió aquí a Carolina del Sur, estudió Derecho, es un abogado y precisamente ha desarrollado un trabajo bastante amplio y recientemente incluso fue uno de los consejeros principales aquí en Hilton Head Island, donde conoce la realidad, sabe que una de las dificultades es la vivienda que hace falta en la isla y adicionalmente pues hace parte de todo el desarrollo de lo que está hoy sucediendo aquí en el Low Country. Hizo parte de los guardacostas, tiene un historial bien interesante y por supuesto pues hoy es congresista, hoy es candidato al Congreso aquí de Carolina del Sur. Ok, y Alberto, bueno, te cedo la palabra.
Okay, I have one question. What plan do you have for the Hispanic community?
Well, I think first and foremost that our Congress needs to make a commitment to the Hispanic community. We have currently Donald Trump, who's been making a lot of threats against the Hispanic community. I think that that's harmful. We are a nation of immigrants. My family were immigrants, mostly Italian and Irish. And that's what makes this country great. The image of America is the Statue of Liberty. It's not a giant wall. So I think that our Congress must protect immigrants, must make it so that there is an efficient and effective pathway to citizenship for those that are here and for those that want to come here and contribute and have a shot at the American dream.
Pues muy interesante la pregunta. Mira, Alberto le pregunta exactamente algo que queremos saber nosotros y es cuál es su trabajo con la comunidad hispana o qué considera que se debe hacer con la comunidad hispana. Entonces él dice efectivamente pues la comunidad hispana ha venido creciendo y en este momento pues hay situaciones que todos escuchamos a nivel nacional como los candidatos en este momento que como el caso del área republicana Donald Trump, decía él que hay como algo en contra de muchos inmigrantes, pero él dice, lo ideal es construir un camino para quienes ya están acá que puedan llegar un día a ser ciudadanos de los Estados Unidos.
Okay.
Alberto. Well, your main objective to become Congress of South Carolina, to a congressman for South Carolina, which will be your main work put in?
Well, there's a lot of things that we need to address here. For me, first and foremost, protecting a woman's right to make her own decisions over her own body. That is something that's really important to me. We cannot have the government in the exam room. For me, my maternal grandmother lost her life to a back alley procedure back in a time when we didn't have the protection that we had under Roe v. Wade. So that is something that I think the next Congress must focus on. I do believe that we need to reform our immigration system to make it more efficient for people that want to come here, to be here and contribute to our economy, to our country, and to join our country and to become a fabric of our nation. I believe that we also need to, really inject a lot of investment into public education. South Carolina is one of the worst states in terms of education, which means that children in South Carolina are amongst the least competitive in the country. That is not only a moral shortcoming, but it's also an economic hazard, and it's a national security hazard. So I think that the federal government, and what I would do in Congress, is to advocate for fully funding our public education institutions, and also raising teacher pay. Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to translate first?
Yeah, we can translate those three really important.
Yeah,
bueno, hasta
I got more.
Ok, bueno, hemos hablado de 3 puntos muy importantes. El primero, él dice proteger los derechos de la mujer, que la mujer pueda tener el derecho a decidir de su propio cuerpo, que Carolina del Sur tiene una deuda bastante grande con las mujeres. El segundo, que hace referencia, es por supuesto trabajar en materia de inmigración, que se pueda construir un camino para que muchos inmigrantes puedan encontrar solución a su situación aquí en los Estados Unidos. Y la tercera, él habla de la educación. Dice que Carolina del Sur es uno de esos estados que está en deuda, no solamente con los estudiantes, de mejorar la educación, sino al mismo tiempo de incrementar el salario de los profesores. Entonces, esos son los 3 elementos que hasta el momento has hablado. Ok. You can continue now.
Thank you. I'll have to brush up on my Spanish. We really need to address housing. We have a huge shortage of affordable housing, here on Hilton Head Island, in Beaufort County, and really the entire Low Country. That is a problem because you have families that are working or that are unable to work, but they're not able to afford to live in the communities where they've called home or where they work. That not only impacts those families that don't have access to housing, but it impacts all of us, because it means that we're going to have a shortage of teachers. It means that we're going to have a shortage of emergency services. It means that people are going to leave this area to go to other places where they can find affordable housing, and that in turn is going to harm our economy, our local economy. So I'm really focused on bringing affordable housing solutions here to the Low Country. I would also say, healthcare. We have exorbitant healthcare costs in this country. This is the wealthiest country on earth. We should not have to worry about, choosing between groceries and medication. So expanding Medicaid, South Carolina is unfortunately one of the states that rejected Medicaid expansion. So we must expand Medicaid and find a way to force South Carolina to expand Medicaid, but also make the barrier to entry for quality healthcare services much lower. And then I would say, we have to bring good-paying jobs to the Low Country. Again, this is the United States. If you work, a full-time job, you shouldn't have to worry about whether or not you still need to work another job to afford your rent or your mortgage or to pay for groceries. You should be able to work a full-time job and have a good quality of life and be comfortable where you are, not have to worry about just working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
Bueno, y los otros 3 puntos fundamentales. Uno, el tema de casas. Entonces, que la gente pueda tener acceso a vivienda. Por supuesto, hay desarrollo, pero no hay realmente un acceso a vivienda, digamos, asequible para muchas personas. Entonces, esa es una de las preocupaciones que él tiene. El otro punto es salud, que la gente y la comunidad tenga acceso a salud. No puede existir esta problemática, como lo manifiesta Mac, que la gente tenga que decidir entre comprar su mercado y comprar sus medicinas. Sabemos que el sistema de salud en los Estados Unidos es supremamente costoso, y él dice hay que trabajar para poder que Carolina del Sur, que inclusive rechazó ser parte de un trabajo en materia de salud que se viene desarrollando, pues que podamos tener una buena calidad de salud y no tener que preocuparnos por ese tema. Y el último trabajos bien pagos, que si la gente tiene un solo trabajo de tiempo completo, como decimos, full time, que tenga calidad, que pueda tener ese trabajo y tener calidad de vida. Esos son los otros 3 puntos.
What you need to do the Hispanic community for help you, for support you?
To support, we need to get the word out. So, I would love to come out and meet with folks. I would love to hear from them what's on their mind, and like to sit down and have a meal with them. I think that that's important for a congressional representative, any public official, to be able to represent all citizens in their respective areas, and so that means making that effort to get out there into all communities, and then also spreading the word, telling family members, telling friends, and then most importantly, voting. June 11th is the Democratic primary, and so getting out and voting for Mac Deford on June 11th is the biggest way to help, and bringing 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 folks with you.
Bueno, pues muy importante la pregunta porque hace referencia a qué puede hacer la comunidad hispana para apoyarlo, para conocerlo. Y precisamente él dice, bueno, lo primero, compartir estas ideas, compartir estas palabras, y al mismo tiempo él quiere participar en esos escenarios donde pueda hablar con la comunidad, entender, por supuesto, los vacíos que hay para poder construir ese trabajo de manera conjunta. Así que, pues, tenemos a este candidato que hoy nos comparte sus ideas y dice el 11, June 11, right?
June 11th.
El 11 de junio precisamente empieza el tema de elecciones, así que salgan y voten. Hay muchos de nosotros inmigrantes que llegamos a este país que hoy son ciudadanos estadounidenses y qué mejor decidir y tener ese derecho a votar, ir a votar. Eso es lo que él dice, lo más importante, participar en este proceso democrático. Well, no, we're so glad to have you.
Yes, of course.
And what do you think about what just happened today on South Carolina, that anyone can carry a gun with basically no permit, right?
Yes, so I think it's an indefensible law. I mean, I served in the military. I was a law enforcement officer. I taught firearms safety to other Coast Guard members. The fact that an individual can purchase a firearm from another person with no background check, then take that gun and carry it in plain view or concealed without any sort of training, that does not make our community safer. It doesn't make our first responders safer, and it doesn't make any of us safer. It's an indefensible law. So gun violence, unfortunately, is the leading cause of death for children, and it doesn't know the boundaries of state lines. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution is a national concept. It's not a states' right issue, and I think that the federal government should show more leadership in addressing gun violence in this country. It doesn't mean that we're seeking to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. What it means is that we're trying to keep guns out of the hands of those who should not have them because they are a danger to themselves or to the community. We do not want children carrying guns. We want people to be responsible with guns. Keep them at home, lock them up when you're not using them, and know how to use them safely. So I disagree completely with what South Carolina, the direction that they've moved in. I think if the legislators that voted for it were to really look inward and really try to analyze what they've done, I don't think that they will have a good argument to say that this law really makes much sense, because it doesn't make any sense.
Bueno, algo importante precisamente hoy, 14 de marzo, es que en el estado de Carolina del Sur pues se ha aprobado que cualquier persona puede tener un arma, la puede mostrar sin ningún permiso, tiene que ser por supuesto mayor de 18 años, pero ese ha sido el acto de hoy, 14 de marzo, que se ha dado, y nosotros le preguntamos cuál es y qué piensa acerca de esto que ha sucedido, y él dice, bueno, como estuve en los guardacostas, fui precisamente miembro del área de seguridad, entrené a personas, y el hecho de que las personas no estén capacitadas para tener un arma, pues pone a muchos ciudadanos de manera indefensa, y al mismo tiempo lo que se busca hoy es proteger la vida, sobre todo de los niños en los Estados Unidos a raíz de los casos que se han presentado sobre todo en las escuelas. Entonces él dice, esto puede levantar unos elementos muy delicados en materia de que cualquier persona o que las armas estén en manos de personas que no corresponden y que esto ponga en peligro la vida de otras personas, razón por la cual él no está de acuerdo con esto que acaba de suceder el día de hoy, 14 de marzo, en Carolina del Sur. Así que, bueno, hemos podido compartir sus ideas. Es el candidato, lo invitamos a que lo conozcan. Where people can find all the information about you.
Absolutely. So you can go to www.defordforcongress.com. It's DEFORD, the word for congress.com. They can go online. They can sign up to volunteer there. We're going to be launching an online store, so you can get some campaign gear, and you can also check out our events to see where we're going to be, where the campaign's going to be, and you can also contact us. I love talking to folks, so people can call me or email me or find us online on social media as well.
Bueno, y pueden conseguirlo en su página web www.deford, así como dice .com, donde pueden encontrar los eventos y toda la información para poder ser parte quienes les interesa de la campaña. Bueno, Alberto.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bueno, muchas gracias a toda nuestra comunidad hispana. Thank you so much to everybody, to all our public today. So we're meeting Mac Deford, running for Congress of South Carolina. Muchas gracias a todos. Muchas gracias, Alberto.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Muchas gracias a todos. Feliz día. Well, thank you so much.
you.
No,
Muy
it's very
bonita,
interesting. Yeah.
excelente
Thank you.
entrevista.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? Can I take? Do you have some magazine, Alberto?